welcome back to a new video here on the memory shelf. Today we're talking about this book right here, and I failed to realize that the camera will not focus on anything other than my face. So I'm probably better off just holding it up right in front of my face right here. And that is Revenge of the Living Dummy. Goosebumps, of course. This is the first book in the HorrorLand books and the first book in my journey of rereading and going through HorrorLand again. I'm about 3 books in now, I think. I've been having a really good time with these so far. I've owned these since I was a kid. Like I mentioned in the previous video, I didn't own a lot of Goosebumps books as a kid because most of them I read at the local library, so I only really owned a handful really throughout the time period. I owned about 6 HorrorLand books, and then the one that you see in the previous video, the rest I'm currently recollecting and rebuying. But this book right here, I really loved and I really enjoyed. I just wrote some notes down on my phone here after I originally finished reading it, because it's a few weeks ago now. I've been reading other books since, including Fear Street. But just to cut to the chase, this book is an 8 out of 10 for me. It is solid. It's such a solid start and such a solid series of books, being the HorrorLand books. I forgot how good they actually were. They're so well sort of structured. The whole continuation thing with the back section of the book, the back chapters where it's the continued overarching story, that is just really cool to me. And it really makes you want to keep reading and keep progressing, and it adds to that sort of addictiveness to the reading sort of experience, essentially. I really feel like this book has the perfect amount of creep factor and kind of the funny aspect that R.L. Stine is known for. That balance between humor and horror, essentially, is always the balance that he's aiming for, always what he's going for in these stories. Sometimes it leans more creep, sometimes it leans more kind of zany, wacky, funny, whatever, and just strange. But I feel like a lot of the Slappy stories have that perfect blend between the two, and this is no exception to that. I felt like the story was simple but effective. Simple enough. You don't need a complex story for a character like Slappy. So the story was just very A to B, very kind of what you would expect from a Slappy story. And the characters were good enough to play the parts, kind of going alongside of all of that. This one I realized on my reread, like how good Slappy is of a villain and of a character in the Goosebumps world and universe. There are some characters, and some of you will probably know what I'm talking about, will probably agree, throughout the Goosebumps series of books, whatever books that may be, whether it's Series 2000, HorrorLand, and so on and so forth, that are just a little bit more flat, a little bit more one-dimensional. Obviously, Slappy is synonymous with Goosebumps in the whole lore of Goosebumps and stuff like that. As much to go as he has his own series of books, being Slappy World, right, which I've never actually read before. I just know of. They came out a lot later when I was already an adult, so I just never really got around to sort of revisiting those or buying those or experiencing those, but I do plan on doing that in the future. But overall, this is just a really solid Goosebumps story from start to finish. It's an 8 out of 10 for me. It's really good. It's got the perfect creep factor and humor factor. It blends all of the things that you know and love about R.L. Stine and his storytelling. It's really effective. It's really good and enjoyable to read even now as an adult. It 100% holds up now that I'm rereading this at 31 years old. And like I say, that extra, and this is synonymous across the entire HorrorLand series, right? The extra chapters at the back of the continued story is really effective, and I really like the fact that they bring all of the characters in kind of as you progress through the books with a conclusion at the end, and there's just a nice kind of connected story, which of course was pretty much a new thing to the world of Goosebumps, being such an anthology-based thing, right? This kind of to me has the perfect balance between anthology and overarching story and connecting it all together. So just a really good, fun overall read, and I really recommend checking this out if you haven't, or revisiting it if it's been many years since you have read it like me. Thank you very much once again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!